You have gang experts in the law enforcement field that can make any tattoo into a gang-related tattoo. We are being persecuted, and the fact is that a tattoo could cost you your freedom.
I get harassed a lot, not just by ICE immigration, but also the police. They have no record of me ever being in gangs or affiliated with none of them, so I just tell them it's art. They don't believe me, so they try to take off my shirt, everything, turn around. What more tattoos do you have?
If you're put in this gang list, does that increase your chances of being deported?
Absolutely. The gang label is the fastest, easiest, most effective way for the government to get you out of this country.
We came to California because there's various reports that are indicating that the federal government is using tattoos as a way to falsely link Latinos and immigrants to gangs.
Since taking office, President Trump has taken a hard-line stance on immigration, often claiming that Latino gangs like MS-13 are pouring into the country at alarming rates.
These are bad dudes. We're getting the bad ones out. Whether it's drugs or murder or other things, those are the ones they go first, and I said it from day one.
In 2017, ICE reported an 83% increase in arrests of MS-13 members compared to the previous year. But experts and advocates argue that this number is grossly inflated, pointing to the fact that the process of identifying gang members can be left to enormous interpretation, and that under the Trump administration, the gang affiliation label is often used as a strategy to simply remove immigrants from the country. One of the primary ways authorities can claim a gang affiliation is based on their analysis of an individual's tattoos. And now, reports are showing a huge increase of immigrants seeking tattoo removal out of fear of being targeted by law enforcement. I met up with Walter, a Latino with legal residency here in the United States, as he was in the process of getting his tattoos removed following years of harassment by local authorities.
What's the cream for?
To numb the pain, so it won't hurt him as much.
But it still hurts.
It's still painful.
Yeah.
Is this the first time you're choosing to remove the...
Yes.
What is that? Is it
It's a teardrop.
So what do you think is going to happen now? What's your hope after removing these tattoos?
Well, I'm hoping I stop getting harassed, and I hope I could get a job, a decent job, you know.
So do you think, are they using your tattoos as a way to profile you as a gang member?
Yes, they are. Like, they look at this one, it's the Louis Vuitton sign, right?
Right.
And they try to make up these gangs, right? Like, there's this movie called Blood In, Blood Out, and they have something called Vatos Locos, and they tell me, oh, so you're a Vato Loco? And I'm like, nah. You know, or you're from Barrio Lomas? I'm like, I don't even live around there. Like, I'm from right here, LA. And so they always try to, like, look me up or see if I've been to that area so they could connect me to it.
And they can find nothing.
And they can't find nothing.
And have you noticed a difference ever since the Trump administration won, right? So, like, ever since immigration enforcement got stricter, you know, all eyes are on our community.
I'm terrified, you
Really?
know? I am. They've been trying to deport me. I went through it twice already, you know, but I talked to them and I explained to them my whole life story, and they let me go. But
they try and deport you based on what?
Because I have a green card and because I have a criminal record, and because they're trying to see if I'm affiliated, which they can't find nothing. You know, I did have a friend that got deported, right? Like, he was walking right next to me and we both got pulled over, and I guess they were looking into his situation and he was tatted and he was in gang record and everything, so they took him in, but they let me go. But they could have took me too, man, so I'm thankful that they didn't.
Gangs have historically used tattoos as a way to show allegiance and to prevent members from leaving. But as a culture of tattoos becomes more mainstream, and their symbolism even within gangs is always changing, the process of identifying what is and isn't a gang tattoo is hardly a perfect science. I wanted to know what signs law enforcement could actually be looking for. So I went to speak to an expert on the issue, Alex Sanchez, who runs a nonprofit helping former gang members get their tattoos removed.
Something like this, you have this Mayan symbol that each line is 10, and then 1, 2, 3, which was a 3, a 10 and a 3 equals 13. And then you have the devil's horns, which was the original sign of the MS-13 during the period that they were stoners. So in this case, this guy is from PBS, which is Playboys, right? It's the rabbit. So you wouldn't really understand what this is, a rabbit gang. You wouldn't understand that was also Playboys, right? It's another gang in the area. But my interpretation of a gang tattoo could be one thing.
Different, right, of course.
Right, somebody else's interpretation could be something else. But you have to be specific, right? Mm-hmm. If you see an MS-13, it's not Maria Sanchez that has a 13-year-old, right? And you might have a teardrop, but it doesn't signify that you killed somebody, or it doesn't signify that you did 5 years or 10 years in prison, right? That's all definitions that have been changing throughout the time, just like the clothing, right?
So obviously there's a huge lack of information out there about what actually constitutes a gang tattoo and what doesn't.
Tattoos has always been an obstacle for many people, especially formerly incarcerated people, to get a job. Well, I think to survive in this administration, obviously we had more people call me up about removing tattoos that they didn't think about removing them before, because it's a painful process and it's not cheap. It's like $50 per square inch. So if you have 2 huge letters on your chest, it can cost you up to $300, $500 of treatment. Right, so that's why people sometimes can't remove them, because it's an expensive and really difficult and painful process, right? But the issue that now has changed the level of why people are seeking tattoo removal is because they have demonized a population of youth who are primarily immigrants. So you have gang experts in the law enforcement field that can make any tattoo into a gang-related tattoo.
ICE didn't immediately respond to comment on their tactics, but a directive outlining their policy for identifying suspected gang members states that individuals must meet at least 2 criteria. The first listed is identifying gang tattoos, while other criteria can be as minor as wearing gang-style clothing, frequenting an area known for gang activity, or just reasonable suspicion by an ICE agent. While a number of reports have shown that this vague and often broad criteria have led to wrongful detentions and arrests, this issue really drew national attention last year, when a 25-year-old dreamer, Daniel Ramirez Medina, was wrongfully labeled as a gang affiliate, with the primary evidence being a tattoo on his forearm. Despite his proven innocence, Medina is still fighting for his DACA status today. And this isn't an isolated incident. I spoke with another dreamer whose tattoos led to a wrongful gang charge and possible deportation when he was arrested last year for gun possession. He's asked we change his name and not show his face.
How does a person like you, you're young, you're working, you went to school, why would someone label you as a gang member?
I mean, just because of the tattoos they see on me. And like my appearance, they see like, oh, he's a Mexican, he's probably a gang member or a criminal.
Were you born in Mexico?
Yeah.
And when did you come to the United States?
Like when I was 6 years old.
Oh wow, that's a long ago. So you've been here for a long time.
Yeah.
Are you a DACA recipient?
I did, but they revoked it.
When did they revoke it?
3 months, 2 months, and it was for like the weapon charge.
Can you walk me through that moment?
They said I had an expired registration when I did it, and once they saw the registration, they just went back to the car, and then 5 police cars showed up. They couldn't find anything, so they went inside the car and they started searching under the seats and all that. They opened the center console, and that's when they found the gun, and then he just came over and slammed me again on the hood of the car while I was in handcuffs. They asked me, are you guys gang members? And we told them, no, we're not gang members. And then they're all like, do you guys have any tattoos? And I told them, yeah, I have my last name on my chest, another tattoo on my left forearm. And they're all, that tattoo on your left forearm stands for a certain gang. And then I told them, no, it doesn't, it's just a cover-up.
You're the one that, obviously, you got your tattoos, right? You were there in the moment. What do those tattoos mean for you?
It's just a cover-up in general for my ex-girlfriend.
So when they pulled you over, what were you telling them? When they told you that those tattoos meant that you were part of a gang?
They didn't really give me a chance to like speak for myself. They were asking, I just told them I plead the fifth. I don't have no gang-related tattoos, no dots on me, no numbers, nothing gang-related.
But he's still fighting his deportation. And having a gang charge often becomes the basis for visa application denials, detention without due process, and even deportation.
I'm about to go meet Joshua, who's actually a former gang member, and he works in a lot of these cases. Hey,
Hi.
Joshua. How are you? I'm Paola.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
Come on in.
Actually, yesterday we met with someone that you put us in touch with. Can you talk a little bit about his case? Obviously without...
I don't mind saying what the tattoo is because it is so common. It's the bear from the California flag, and that's it. A lot of people have that tattoo, and in his case, all of a sudden it became a gang tattoo.
So I guess the question is, how then does his tattoo increase his chances of being deported?
The legal stuff can get a little complicated sometimes to understand. He'd gotten caught up before and went to the county jail. When he went to the county jail, they asked him who he wanted to be housed with, Northerners or Southerners, and he said Northerners. That, coupled with, now he gets popped with the gun. So now the feds come in and they say, you admitted to being a gang member to the Monterey County Sheriff's Department when you told them that you wanted to be housed with Northerners. Which again goes to my point that to be a Northerner is not to be a gang member. Those things are not synonymous, right? So they used that and blew that out of proportion. And then his tattoo, which what it is ever since the NorCal clothing company started, it's blown up popular. The California bear, California this, California that, right? So of course Northerners wear that stuff, but it doesn't make it gang related. You know, wearing a Dodgers hat doesn't make you a sureño just because Mexicans in LA like to wear Dodgers, right? ICE is trolling everywhere, just looking for stuff. So they hear Mexican kid gets busted with a pistol and has a tattoo, he's in a gang, winning, and they pick him up. But their report is short as hell. There's nothing to it. It is just he's got several tattoos, which he doesn't, including the Cali bear, which essentially everybody knows is gang related.
I mean, to me, there's really nothing more American, no, than having a California bear.
Right.
So that's the ironic part.
Yeah, take that route, there is a lot of irony there. Did he have a gun in his car? Yes. Was the process from the stop to the cops finding the gun legal? No. Lots of hiccups in that. Had he a better lawyer, had he not been an immigrant, he'd have gotten that case thrown out. And if he gets that removed from his record, then yeah, he can keep his DACA. But that's what happens when you have federal agents with no knowledge of the area, with no expertise in gangs that is relevant on a local level, who want to find something that supports a conclusion that they've already reached, which is this immigrant is a gang member. And I'm gonna find something that supports me being able to say that.
I think that Joshua summarized it the best way. I think as a country and the media is sort of missing the small stories, no, which actually tell and show that every single day Latinos are being discriminated and being racially profiled, right? And something as small and something as personal as a tattoo is being weaponized as a tool to discriminate against the community.
You ready?
Yeah, ready.
You can start with your right arm, okay?
All right.
Right hand, okay? Anything on your finger too, or just here? Just
Yeah, my finger too.
1, 2, and 3.
For like young Latinos that are out here in LA, would you recommend them getting a tattoo?
No, as you can see, I'm getting it removed right now, you know, because I'm older now, a little bit wiser. Not that wise, but a little bit wiser, you know?
Yeah.
And I want to change. You know, if you get tattoos, you know, try to get them like where they're not visible, you know, because it hurts later on in life, you know?
1, 2, 3.
Do you think as more Latinos are starting to be pushed to remove their tattoos, is that sort of crushing the Latino identity?
I think the tattoos was something that our culture, our indigenous cultures used. I love tattoos. You know, tattoos are art. And if you want to get a tattoo, even if you're an immigrant, you have the right to do it, right? But it's the times that we're living in, so I suggest that people think twice about getting a tattoo.
1, 2, 3.
It's a difficult time, and it is a exceptionally difficult time to be an immigrant from south of the US border here. I don't see an end in sight with how things are going right now. I don't believe that there's any reason to throw in the towel, but There is not a rosy day around the corner right now. It is not suddenly gonna get better tomorrow.
Sweating, you okay?
Yeah.
All right, my man, I'll see you next time.
God damn.
You're sweating.
It's lighter, no? Go
It
get
is.
lighter.
Especially that one, yeah. Yeah. You feel better?
Yeah.
Relieved?
Yeah. God damn.